When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable. Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know. Here we go, still breathing, standing.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is D again and you're watching D Digital. So in my first video I showed you the things that you will need to start your DIY desktop, and today I'm going to show you how to install the desktop inside, to install everything now in your case. So let's get started. So I have already showed you before, this is the motherboard. Okay, so if you start installing, you just have to make sure that it is on a very solid state, solid table. And I'm going to start now and begin. First, we are going to start inserting our processor to where it should be located. So this is where our processor should be inserted. Now, in inserting our processor, you have to make sure that it is properly done according to the direction which is shown as your guide in inserting this processor. So this is I don't know what's this called, but you have to push this down for it to open gently. Once it's open, you have to just slowly pull this up, and this is how it looks inside. Now, in inserting the CPU, it should be like this, okay? And there is a small, as you can see here, this one, there's a little triangle. This marks as your direction as to how you will put this processor inside. So here also there's this small triangular shape. It's just it's a guide actually, that this is how you will insert it. So gently we will insert this there. See, it perfectly fits in. Okay, now to close it, oops, sorry, it's just, you're going to do it again. Okay, sorry guys. Normally this will be removed, guys, once it's installed. Okay, so the next we are going to install is the storage. And so the storage, this is the slot of the storage, and as you can see, there's this little space here, just very, very little, which also shows here that there's a little space, which just means that this is how it should be placed. Okay, so to place it inside, you have to press it gently, but you have to be very gentle with storage, and you're not going to screw it. So we have now installed our processor and our storage all together. This is how it looks now, and the processor. So the next thing, by the way guys, this is a thermal paste. Okay, so you have to put this thermal paste here, just about a drop, and just let it sit there, and it will just spread by itself. So this comes along with your iCore 5 package and with this one, and you have to put, don't forget to put this paste on top of this. Press it gentle. When I think that will be enough. Okay, so see, it's just, we're done putting the paste. Not too much guys, just enough. Okay, and the next thing that we are going to do is place this processor on top of our, this cooler on top of our processor. So as you can see, there are 4 slots, pins here, slots. And there's also 4 holes here, which just means that you have to put this there. Okay, so you have to make sure that it fits perfectly in. I think that's it. Okay, now to lock it, you have to push it down and you have to hear a gentle clicking sound just to make sure that it's locked properly. So I'm going to do this first too. See, if you hear that sound, that means it's locked. And then here too. Okay, sorry. Okay, so okay, now it's locked. And this is the connector. So we are going to connect this for this cooler to work. It should be connected to the motherboard. Now the slot for this connector is just right here on top. There is a label here, CPU fan. As you can see, this is where you are going to connect the cooler. Again, you have to be very careful. You cannot just insert it just the way whatever it should be. I mean, you cannot just insert it the way you like it, but you have to follow the directions. You have to make sure that the fan will perfectly fit in right there. Okay, right. So now we have already installed our CPU, our processor, our storage, and our cooler. Next thing is we are going to install it all in our case. So this is the CPU. This is called the IO shield. You have to put the IO shield here. There's a vacant. Can you see this space here? This is where the IO shields should be placed. And yep. Okay, so the IO shield now is perfectly fitting in. So that's about okay now. And the next thing is we are going to insert the motherboard right into our case.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable.
This one goes through here and goes out here. See, you have to make sure that it perfectly fits also outside here. There you go. Okay. Okay, then we'll start screwing it, guys.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand.
So we have 4 screws here and it's screwed now. So we are now ready to connect all the connectors to the motherboard. So as you can see, there are a lot of connectors here, but you will know where to put it because in the motherboard they will be labeled. There are labels as to where you will put each and every connectors of the power supply. So we'll start with this 24K pin and I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to show you where I will insert this. Okay. So this one, as I've said, it's a 24K pin. This will go here and you have to make sure that this lock will be facing out because there's, as you here in front, this is where you will lock it. So you have to make sure that when it's locked, you will hear a tiny clicking sound. Malit lang pong sound. Very slow. There you go. Okay, so it's locked. Okay, so we're done. And next is our, so this one. This is our CPU. So this CPU should go through here. You have to make sure that it fits. You can actually remove this. If it will not fit, if it's together, you can actually remove this. See, there's a word here, CPU. CPU. So this is the one that we will insert there. See? It's easy to remove it. You can just return it back together and then slide it also when you try to remove it. So this is the CPU that we have inserted. And in the manual, this is the pin for the CPU. So again, this is the lock. It should be facing wherever the lock is. So we'll put it in there, and we have to make sure that you will hear a tiny clicking sound to make sure it's locked. Okay. Right. So we've done with this 24K and the CPU. Now we will proceed. So let's proceed. So I'm going to do first this USB 3. So this goes here. This USB 3, as you can see, there's this little label USB 3. So this is where you will put. This is how it looks like when you put it. Oh, I mean, sorry. This is how it should look like when you put it. As you can see, there's a little I don't know how do you call this, but you have to make sure that this one is facing there, because there's a space here which will fit in this little protruding thing here. Okay, so now I will insert it and make sure you will hear a little sound again, a little clicking sound to make sure it's locked. There you go. Okay, so we will now go to our next connectors, and we will do the USB and the HD audio wires. So both wires will go here down, and we will receive it from here. Now I'm going to show you where you will put this. But guys, be very, very extra careful. If you will not be able to put the pin properly, the audio and the USB ports will not be working. So in this setup, you will see audio, and here you'll see USB. So you have to make sure that the pins are properly placed. Otherwise, if the placement are not properly done, none of this will work. So we will proceed with the audio. So you have to check that the placing of the pin would exactly be the same with these holes here. So there's a little space here, and exactly here there's also a little space, so they should look like this. USB on top, and then you have to carefully insert it. You have to make sure. Okay, so now the audio is connected. We will now connect with the USB. There. Okay, so we will proceed now with these tiny little connectors here. So we will connect the HDD LED power switch, the reset switch, and the power LED. So they have they're very tiny actually. You have to make sure that they are also properly connected to the pins. Otherwise, all of this will not work. Okay, so this goes right in here. So we have to make sure also that the wirings are properly done. We will do in my next videos. I will also be doing wire management tutorials. So watch out for that as well. In the meantime, we'll proceed with inserting or finishing this desktop.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you
So I got them all here now. So I mentioned I will start with these two little tiny guys. They are the LED negative, the positive, and the LED power LED negative. So the negative positive. So their locations are actually here. So there is also a tiny label here, very, very tiny. If you cannot see them, you may require the help of a magnifying glass for you to see, because there is actually a label here, but it's too tiny, it's too small. Even me, I am barely seeing this, but I'm already familiar, so I won't be needing that anymore. Okay, so next is this HDD LED positive. You have to be very careful, guys, because there's this positive and negative. So they should properly be following the direction of the positive and the negative. So here, this side here is the positive, so the positive should be like this. Since the positive is here, it should be like that. The negative is here, located at the right side. Here's my right side. Yeah, it's my right side. So it should be like that. The direction should be like that as well. Okay. So we will proceed with which one I got. The power switch. So the power switch is right next to this guys here. So this is how it should be inserted. Okay. Okay, so this one is the reset switch, and it goes, okay. As you can see, right above I put the power switch. So this reset switch should go right below the power switch. So one on top and the other below. So they will be back to back with each other. Sorry. It's too tiny, guys. Okay. Alright. It's inserted now. So I guess we have inserted all this stuff here all together. And let's proceed. Okay. So the next thing is the RAM. You have to be very careful with the RAM as well, because it is very sensitive, guys. And yeah, this is how it looks. And you have to place it. There are actually 4 slots, but I am only using 1 RAM. So I'll put that in this part here. So again, there's a lock. You can do the lock, and you see there is a little space here. This one, it should exactly fit into that little thing here. Okay, so oops.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable.
So we're done. So next we are going to insert the fan to the power supply. So this is our power supply. Okay. Okay. Next is this one. So you have to be very careful as well and make sure that it's fitting properly as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're done connecting. And what we're going to do next now is cable management, as I've mentioned. Okay.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable. Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know.
Okay, whew. So we're done with the cable management as well, and we're done with the PC. We're done connecting everything, and my baby is done. Okay, so the judgment time has come. We will check if this is working.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand.
And putting on the switch. So guys, this is the where you will put this switch connector. So I already heard electricity transmitting. And this is the HDMI port for my screen. I'm just actually using an old version screen, guys. It's not fancy because it's only for checking my work if it's working or not. And let's turn it on. Da-da-da-da-da. Ooh.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up.
It's not yet done. We'll have to check first if it will work here or not. Okay, I'm testing. Testing 1, 2, 3.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh.
So our LED is already working. Everything is working fine. How beautiful is that? Okay, so judgment time. It worked, guys. And this is it. And see, there's already a display coming out. So once the display is out already, that means we're done and we're good to go and it's working. So this is it. Okay, guys, so this is my build for today for the basic desktop. I hope you like the video that I have just showed you earlier. And if you like the video, please hit like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching. This is Dee again, and you're watching Digital.
We'll take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh.